Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and after well over 16 months at this point of no fans in the venue, fans are finally returning today to the Stage 5 Major. It's absolutely beautiful stuff. I'm sure they're going to have some very entertaining matches indeed to watch. Plenty of storylines we're going to dive into here in the coming minutes. Very much intrigued to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you were new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Already upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, just wanted to dive in once again to this OpTic Chicago versus Toronto Ultra series, because there's been quite a lot said about this. Of course, Ultra get the job done in the Game 5. We talked about it last night, but it was quite the series. Honestly, looking back at it, it's not overly surprising, but OpTic got completely outplayed in both Search and Destroys, and this is obviously a massive concern for OpTic given their Search and Destroy looked somewhat better, and especially beating FaZe as they did Game 5, round 11 on standoff. It really felt like, okay, maybe they've come over a little bit of a hurdle there. It was also round 10, they went against FaZe on that Miami they played in that series, so obviously they felt had some confidence going into this series, but yeah, the Search and Destroys really didn't work out for them at all. And that's a serious issue. I did talk about it yesterday, the fact that like if CleanX and Bance turn up at the same time, this is going to be a hard team to stop. CleanX was, no doubt the series MVP. 19,000 damage. This actually excludes map 2 where he dropped 10 kills. So he had well over, I'm pretty sure, 20,000 damage in this series, maybe even pushing 21,000. So definitely incredibly impressive stuff. Bance had a great series as well, a 1.5 over the hard points, and those guys turned up massively, and Cammy didn't really have to do all that much, all things considered. It was the SMGs that really got the job done for the Toronto guys, and this was some of the talk, right? Because every single time OpTic loses, it's always about, okay, were the vetoes the right idea? Like, how's it going in terms of the coaching stuff? Is the Search and Destroy going to be there in force? And it really felt like Toronto were very well prepared for what OpTic were going to bring to the table here in the Search and Destroys. That's I imagine they'd watch a load of VOD, because they expected of course, they knew if they beat Los Angeles Thieves, they'd be playing OpTic Chicago. So, of course, like, they came in very well prepared. And yes, there was some talk about the fact that OpTic decided to go to Miami. The problem is, really, if they didn't go to Miami, they probably would have had to go to a raid Search and Destroy, where, I mean, look, Toronto are very, very good at raid, Search and Destroy, so I don't mind the Miami pick, to be honest. Looking back at it, it does look a little bit questionable, no doubt, and of course that was the thing that held them back, because at the end of the day, if you're OpTic, as Sender's talking about doing what they do in practice, which the respawns are pretty solid, apart from that Game 4 that they, kind of got blown out, and we'll actually have a look at something a little bit intriguing from that here in just a second. The thing is with OpTic, if you want to win one of these tournaments, you've got to win a best of 9 in the grand finals, which has 4 Search and Destroys in. You've got to be very good at Search, and that's something that FaZe and Ultra have done when they actually won their championships earlier this season, and maybe we'll look to do so again. The matchup that OpTic have in the loser's side is likely going to be far from easy. This is a pretty ridiculous statistic, actually, the round 11 stats points out. So, of course, as we said yesterday, they were 5-0 against S&D Toronto against Chicago this season until that 6th game where they were then 6-0. And, if they didn't win that round 11 on standoff I just talked about, they would be 0-12 now after against Atlanta and Toronto in this game mode this season. That is honestly pretty outrageous. They're like, what, 1-11 now in the entire season against Atlanta and Toronto in Search and Destroy. That's clearly not an acceptable level of performance, and we can see how it went right here as Envoy says got outclassed in the Search and Destroys. We go again tomorrow. Former Sizzler, damn, GG's Toronto got outplayed in the Search and Destroy, got to tighten it up for the rest of the weekend, but not much time to do so when your losers bracket match is not exactly easy. And I did want to look at right here the statistics from these Search and Destroys. As I say, no damage because there was no scoreboard that came up on screen for the Search and Destroy, but Former goes 2-8 this game 1, and in the game 2 he goes 1-7. So what is that? Combined 3-15 over 2 Search and Destroys. That's not exactly ideal, and of course it can be difficult at times on Express to use an AR, but on Miami you would imagine this is kind of the AR's kingdom in a sense. I mean, a lot of the ARs tend to do particularly well, to be fair. It was CleanX with the SMG though, going 10-4, because you can't do that over towards the B-bomb side, but yeah, completely outclassed in the Search and Destroy. I mean, they lost 2-6 in both of them, which despite such a great stage for OpTic so far, it definitely, reminds to a degree of how OpTic looked right at the start of the season where their respawn was great, but their Search and Destroy wasn't quite there. If they get back to that kind of situation again, they find themselves in an increasingly difficult spot, as I say, especially when you're playing teams, especially in the lower side, that are very good indeed at Search and Destroy. This I did think was kind of interesting as well. Pretty ridiculous spawn that JP Krez points out right here. So, as you can see, this is the situation as it's developing. Number 3 from OpTic is in the back. The other OpTic guys are spawning out over here towards this P4, and P5 is in control right now of the Toronto Ultra. But, where exactly do you spawn a Toronto player if you're in this situation? You don't really want to spawn them out here, but you kind of think maybe this spawn back here is blocked. So number 6, as soon as this player dies, or number 7, sorry, spawns right here, like kind of next to player number 3, and player number 7 immediately spins around and takes out this guy before the other guys spawn up at the back. So very interesting spawn to just kind of spawn right next to the guy. Technically, I guess not within his line of sight, but still kind of a strange situation. You might have thought he'd spawn back here or something, but maybe even that would be closer to number 3's line of sight. A little bit strange, but at the end of the day, you could argue they got somewhat blessed with this spawn because it helps them hold on and get that kill onto number 3 without too much difficulty. But well, this also was being talked about yesterday, right, in terms of the blue Ethernet. This is something that people always talk about when we're in a LAN environment, is, well, how many matches were won by the team on different sides of the stage. So yesterday, or at least in the first day of action on a Thursday, every single match was won by the team on the left-hand side as auto draft. And yesterday, every team was won by the team on the right-hand side. So as Jacob says, knew something was up right there. And even when this was tweeted, the OpTic series hadn't yet concluded, but still it was the case indeed that Toronto won the series on the right-hand side of the stage. So the conspiracies, I'm sure, are in full force. The blue Ethernet cables and all that good stuff are returning as well. Definitely wanted to talk about this as well, because this is pretty entertaining indeed. The last chance qualifiers are going on right now for the Amateur World Championship, the Challengers World Championship in the regions. So the APAC region, that being Australia Pacific, are coming nuts right now, as ILLey says, in this last chance qualifier. Everything was out the window. These teams were breaking G8 all over the park. It's very interesting to see. Of course, it's not likely to happen in pro play at the World Championships or something, but certainly in the Challenger side, I would not be surprised to see this kind of pervade outside of just the LCQ, because right here there was some pretty ridiculous stuff going on. The M4s are out, the smokes are out, the snipers are out, the KSPs are out. It's all fair game, it seems. We saw not too long ago now, it was in the North American side, where I think it was like, who was it, Spart, refused to GA the QBZ. The people wanted G8, and he was like, look, I'm just using it anyway. And therefore, for the entire first few hours of the tournament, there was XM4s where like thermal scopes coming out. You can see right here, this is a screenshot. I'll play the clip for you guys here in just a second. But yeah, snipers on display. You've got XM4s coming into play. You've got KSPs. You've got smokes all over the shop. This is a cutout on raid if you guys can't recognize it, because it's honestly absolute chaos. Pretty entertaining to watch. I wonder if this will continue to pervade the challenger scene as we move towards the World Championships on that side of things.
Looks like next up we're going to cut through mid, deny Gasman and Co. their lives out that, and they're just stuck in the back. I mean, you have A and B, and Gasman and Co. they don't even know where to spawn. They're just going to be spawning right into the center. This is crazy.
Dude, they're just throwing smokes. Like, that's what you do when you're absolutely costing and you've just thrown the game mentally. You're just throwing smokes, nades, whatever works, and you still can't find a way to get in. I mean, they're just using AK-74Us. They're using the same meta they've been using for 8 months, and they're cooking you. Next up, win round 1. And, yeah, I know for a fact Gasman and Company are heated. This is hilarious because no matter what's going on, I mean, next up, we're just winning these gunfights. You got a sniper in the smoke.
Of course, speaking of the challenger side, Doug Center Martin is hitting final form for champs. I mean, look at him right here, dropping 7k damage, 50 limbs, a checkmate hardpoint against Arcitys and Co on this side of things. Yeah, Uno, K, Destiny, and Center. That's going to be the squad they're going to be run with. Damn, this guy is almost 3 minutes in hill. Not too bad at all. As Insight says, then let's talk about this. Fans tomorrow, that being today. Wow, it has been forever. So long now since, I mean, the last LAN event with fans was, the Los Angeles home series that the Dallas Empire guys won before things obviously kicked off and went to online. The event before that was the Atlanta event, I think, where FaZe won their own home series or whatever. But since then, there's been, nothing of the sort, obviously, for a very long time. We finally got back to LAN for the Stage 4 Major. Now there are going to be fans in attendance for the Saturday and the Sunday, and they're going to have some pretty interesting matches to watch. There is no doubt about that. This is the bracket right now. A very surprising one, let's just say that. I did not predict. I think Ultra going to the winners final could have been, a pretty reasonable prediction. But Rokkr on the other side of things is pretty incredible. One of those two teams will be in the grand final with a great shot to win the entire thing. So pretty incredible to see, to be honest. The Battle of the North or whatever, I'm pretty sure they call this one. Definitely going to be happening here in the winners final. The lower bracket, though, is absolute chaos. I did not predict this lower bracket to be as stacked as it is. To be honest, even if the winners final teams went down there, it'd also be pretty stacked. These teams are very good right now, improving rapidly, no doubt, as they look to take down Atlanta FaZe. FaZe, the reigning champions, the team that hasn't failed to make a grand finals all year. They've made all 4 grand finals. They've won 3 of them. They lost 1 to Toronto. They obviously have a lot of work to do here in the lower side. But would you put it past them to do it? Not necessarily. So, okay, a lot of games today. We'll have a look at the schedule here in just a second. But Thieves play New York first up. Thieves effectively have to win this entire tournament, and Rokkr have to lose and then lose again in the elimination final if they are to get the winners bracket seed for the World Championship. So all things considered, probably not going to happen. New York will play them first up. The winner of that will play the Dallas Empire. Then on the other side of the bracket, you've got FaZe versus Surge. So can Surge possibly keep their winners bracket run going, or their losers bracket run going? Sorry. They've obviously done pretty well so far. 3-1, 3-0 against teams that aren't particularly good. FaZe is going to be a different beast. But who knows, right? FaZe have to play a lightning hot Surge in the lower side. Maybe something will happen down there. It would certainly be interesting to see. But I think that probably FaZe will get the better of them. That'd probably be a reasonable prediction at this point. And what that does mean is that OpTic should Chicago having had such a difficult time against Ultra, losing in that game 5, especially with their Search and Destroy not looking so good as we just looked at, will probably have to play FaZe in the lower side. And that is not where you want to be. Playing FaZe, I mean, if they lose it, whoever loses that series goes out of the tournament top 6. Be pretty tragic enter, of course, both of these teams as stages, no doubt looking so good throughout the stage to finish top 6 regardless. And well, maybe it'll be Seattle Surge continuing on anyway, and FaZe will finish top 8. Who even knows at this point? So these are the games, and of course these are the games in the schedule of the day. Fans are back on LAN, says Crone, no doubt, and this is how it goes. So first up, Thieves subliners, a little bit earlier than normal, then FaZe v Surge, then you get Empire versus the winner of that first series, then OpTic versus the winner of that last series, and then it's Rokkr versus Ultra to finish out the day to determine who will be the first team in the grand finals on Sunday in front of fans. We absolutely do love to see it. But very much intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube because I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.